Have you ever felt overwhelmed by all the decisions you have to make in a day? Like you're staring at a to-do list that stretches for miles, or you're facing a choice so big it feels like your entire future is on the line. Maybe it's a career shift, a relationship dilemma, or even just choosing the right path when it feels like every option could go horribly wrong. I get it. Life throws a lot at us, and it often feels like you're standing in the middle of a jungle, trying to figure out how to find your way out. Everything's messy, and you're not sure where to start. But here's the thing. It doesn't have to be this way. What if I told you that the people who seem to handle life with more clarity, they're not just lucky, and they're not some special breed of genius. They just have a secret tool. It's something you can learn too. It's called mental models, a fancy term for a way of thinking that helps you simplify the complexity of the world and make smarter decisions faster. What's so powerful about these mental models is that they let you zoom out and see the bigger picture when life feels like it's closing in. You can cut through the noise and get to the heart of what really matters. What are mental models? Picture this. You're about to make a big decision, but instead of feeling totally lost or overwhelmed, you pull out a mental map that helps you think clearly. It's like having a blueprint for your brain. You know, when you look at a building, you see it in 3 dimensions. Its width, height, and depth. Mental models let you see the world in similar dimensions. They help you understand the deeper patterns in everything, so you don't have to rethink every problem from scratch. Think of it like this. When you look at a problem, mental models help you identify the important parts, the ones that really matter. It's the difference between floundering around, trying to figure things out, and just looking at the right things first. They don't eliminate complexity, but they give you a way to handle it without getting bogged down. Here's the cool thing. Everyone uses mental models, whether they realize it or not. Every time you make a decision, you're applying some kind of mental model. But when you start intentionally building your own set of models, life doesn't feel as random. It starts to feel more navigable, more manageable. Why do smart people rely on mental models? You know those people who seem to handle stress and chaos with such calm. They don't freak out when things go wrong. They don't get overwhelmed by tough choices. It's like they have some secret map guiding them. Here's the deal. It's not that they don't face challenges. They do. It's not that they always have all the answers, but they have learned to simplify. They've got these mental shortcuts, these frameworks that help them make decisions more effectively. They understand which levers to pull when things get tough. Take Warren Buffett, for example, one of the most successful investors in the world. He didn't get there just by picking good stocks. He got there because he developed and stuck to mental models that helped him see through the noise and focus on the things that really matter. Buffett says, "The best thing a human being can do is to help another human being know more." What he's really saying is it's not about knowing everything. It's about knowing how to make the best choices with what you know, and using the right frameworks to do so. It's this ability to simplify things that gives smart people their edge. They don't try to juggle every little thing. They focus on what's important. A few mental models that can simplify your life. Now, let's talk about some of the actual mental models that help smart people think clearly. These models help you cut through the complexity, get focused, and make better decisions. These are just a few to get you started. One of the most powerful is first principles thinking. Elon Musk talks a lot about this. At its core, it's about breaking things down to their most basic truths. Instead of taking things at face value, like this is how things are done, or this is how it's always been, you go down to the roots of the problem and think about it from scratch. You strip away assumptions and see what's really there. Think about it this way. If you were to build a car from scratch, you wouldn't start by copying how other cars are made. You'd start with the fundamental question, what is a car at its core? What are the essential components that actually make it run? What's the simplest, most cost-effective way to build it? You're not just accepting the conventional approach, you're questioning everything, breaking it down and rebuilding it with the most essential elements. This approach, which Musk used to revolutionize space travel with SpaceX, can be applied to almost anything in life. Whether you're trying to solve a problem at work or making a tough decision, stripping away the noise and getting to the first principles can give you a huge advantage. Instead of overthinking things, you're looking at what's actually important. Another model that can transform how you think is the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle. This one's so simple but so effective. It says that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Sounds simple, right? But how often do we get distracted by the 80% that doesn't really matter? Think about a typical workday. How much of your time is spent doing things that don't actually move the needle? How much time do you spend on emails that don't matter or in meetings that aren't important? Now imagine if you focused that energy on just the 20% of tasks that give you the biggest results. It would totally change how you approach your day, wouldn't it? If you're trying to lose weight, for example, you don't need to overhaul your entire lifestyle. Just focus on the 20%. Maybe it's cutting out sugar and getting a little more active. That small shift could lead to 80% of the results you're looking for. The 80-20 rule is like a filter for your time and energy. It helps you focus on the few things that truly matter and discard the rest. And when you start applying it to every part of your life, things get a whole lot simpler. Then there's Occam's razor, which is all about simplicity. It says that when there are multiple explanations for a situation, the simplest one is usually the best. It's the idea that the more complicated solution might not always be the right one. Imagine you're troubleshooting a problem. Let's say your car won't start. It could be the alternator, the battery, or maybe something more complicated. But often, it's the simplest thing you've overlooked. Maybe you just left the lights on overnight. Occam's razor reminds you to start with the simplest explanation first and then work your way up if needed. Sometimes we make things more complicated than they need to be. Life can be messy, sure, but that doesn't mean we need to add layers of complexity to it. Start with simplicity. Lastly, there's inversion, a mental model that's all about thinking backward. Instead of asking, how do I succeed? Ask, what could cause me to fail? When you think about potential failures, you can identify the risks and make adjustments before they even happen. I know, this one feels a little counterintuitive at first, but when you think about what could go wrong, it forces you to spot the cracks in your plan before they become major problems. If you're thinking of launching a new business, don't just focus on success. Think about what might cause it to fail. That way, you're prepared for potential pitfalls and can avoid them before they derail your progress. Now that we've covered a few, let me tell you something important. You don't have to memorize every mental model out there. The beauty of this is that it's a toolbox. You don't need to know everything. You just need to know which tool to use when you need it. Start with the basics. Pick 1 or 2 models and apply them to real-life situations. See how they change the way you think, how they simplify your decisions. Over time, as you learn more and get better at applying these models, you'll naturally build your own mental toolkit. The more you use them, the easier it becomes to see life's complexities as opportunities to apply your tools. Mental models aren't some magical shortcut to a perfect life, but they are a powerful way to make sense of the world. They allow you to simplify the overwhelming, to break things down into manageable pieces. And when you simplify, life doesn't feel so chaotic anymore. The next time you're facing a decision, ask yourself, which mental model would make this easier? Take a step back, apply one of these tools, and see how much simpler it can become. Over time, these models will become second nature, helping you make smarter decisions with less effort. Life's complex, we all know that, but with the right mental models, it doesn't have to be complicated. So start building your mental toolbox today and start seeing the world with more clarity tomorrow.